Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky, and I am a living Christ. I should like to speak to you about the world that you live in, and myself, who is in your world, but clearly, by all evidence, am not of it. What is that evidence? Is it material proof? No. You can't grasp that because that's all illusion. That's all nothing more than contradicting intellectual satanic conditioning that separates you from others in your perception of the world. You live in a dualistic reality based in concepts and ideas and words, in laws. You make that your reality, and you live according to these dead fictional concepts that to you have become your God. You worship that image, that word. You're not living in truth because truth is beyond words. Words are merely used to communicate limitedly. An unlimited energy, a universal energy, an energy of love. An energy which is non-dualistic. Now, what's the difference between non-dualistic and a dualistic consciousness? It's the measure of one who is either a master of his life, totally responsible for his actions and his behavior, who lives in the universe of infinite intelligence. That's the spiritual you. And you have opted out of that intelligence, that subconscious intelligence that is found in your subconscious mind, to live in the world, the fictional world that you have created by words, by dualistic, satanically ruled intellect. That is the conscious mind, the mind that rules over civilized behavior, that is the ruler of the world, Satan. You're all Satanists. That's been kept from you by those who confuse you, who control your minds with fictional ideas, who maintain a constant fraudulent power over you by making you doubt yourselves according to images that it has trained you to believe through educational facilities that they have created, creating standards of ideas, of concepts, calling them laws. But you must be trained to recognize those laws, and you do that by having been sent to school by your enslaved parents who don't know any better. They're as ignorant as you are. You're all ignorant of what is. What is truth. It's a non-dualistic energy that is the universe, that is God itself, fully making its energy manifest in you. You are composed of that energy. And it is only functional in the non-dualistic mind, but it has been cursed. by intellectual energy of the conscious mind, the mind that creates an illusion, a fictional world of concepts, of division, of argument, of contradiction. Understand? You live in sin when you adopt yourself to live in the conscious intellect of the civilized mind. You agree. You strike a contract with Satan, who is the specter of dualism, of the conscious mind, and the ruler of the conscious mind. You make an agreement. That's how you know you're in hell. And who rules that hell? Is it not the intellectual giants of our time, the philosophers, the priests, the politicians, the presidents, the kings, the queens, those who maintain an authority over you only in the conscious dualistic intellect? Such authority does not exist in the universe, for the universe is non-dualistic. There is nothing to oppose. There is nothing to create conflict with. The universe is the energy of what is manifesting in the eternal moment of now. It has nothing to do with the past, nor with the future, for both are merely conscious intellectual choices. You can control your memories of the past, and you can control your aspirations of the future, for they are all based in the dualistic conscious mind. But you find yourself helpless and hopeless in the moment of now, in the eternal moment of now, which has no beginning nor an end. You understand? Once that moment has passed, whatever has been done, recollected by memory, is now in the past. That's an illusory world. And that's the world that most of you live in, because you repeat that memory-based concept as your ego. And you find that your ego becomes the god of your fragmented, partial, conflicted world. That's hell. As I've said, I'm in your world because I must speak to you. I must use language. I must use words. But those words are not heard. You interpret my words according to your conditioning. And so, therefore, you, most of you, disbelieve this living Christ, this man of his word, this holistic man, this simple man of truth. That's what a Christ is. You understand that? You see, you misunderstand the very concept of Jesus of Nazareth, whom you regard, in this Western world at least, as a God, Son of God. He is the ruler for all Christians. All Christians are in a state of mass hypnosis. They have been deported from holistic intelligence, from heaven, into a partial word-based reality called fiction. And that is the way of the civilized world, the world in which all of you live in. Now the man who is speaking to you now, you regard as being nothing more but the antithesis of yourselves, because what you hear is not what you think. It contradicts most of your thinking. It makes you want to come to a point of peace of mind, a oneness. Now that oneness is non-duality. That is the non-duality which this living Christ presents to you. Most of you want to hear how to relieve the anxiety that you live with every day of your life. But when you hear it, it disturbs your ego. You're trained, conditioned, satanically conditioned ego. And therefore, your partiality is uncovered. And it disturbs you greatly. Because you live behind masks that divert attention away from who you truly are. And it is that projection, that ego projection outwardly into the world, that you wear in order to protect yourself. And you strive for security, for not being disturbed. But it's impossible. Everything you do brings you disturbance or doubt. What do people think of me? Do they like me? Who am I for them to like or dislike? Do I even know? That's the struggle that most of you are going through. And that's why you're here on this plane of existence, this civilized world here on planet Earth. You see, I'm speaking to you in terms that you understand, at least on a basic level. But you do not understand deeply your existence, who you are, or your purpose for being on this earth. That is the very definition of ignorance. Now, ignorance is not stupidity. Ignorance is merely a limitation of intelligence, which does not allow for holistic perception, direct perception to occur. Non-duality. You see, you live in a partial cocoon of security that allows you to feel secure. However, that security is threatened every moment of your life. And you must deal with it. For you, that is the hell of your life, that you live in this fictional, projected, fragmented, intellectual world based in ideas, concepts, rules, man's law, understand, regulations. These are all satanic. They are all nothing more than intellectual concepts that you have been trained to believe control your very behavior. And that is what you struggle against. You have self-doubts. You believe. You fear the consequences of not obeying these artificial laws. God's law is very simple. Do no harm. Tell no lies. What does that do? That removes you to the non-dualistic realm of consciousness, which is truth. What is? There's no contradiction, no conflict, no struggle, no argument, no wars, no intimidation, no extreme power of enslavement that makes you conform to wishes of some men who make these rules. Who are they? They're your politicians. They're your priests. But who are they really? They are merely men and women who have been placed into their office by your consent. For you, the living man, the living woman, have created the fiction, the dead fiction composed of words and ideas, concepts, as government, as religion, as banking, as corporation rules. And who rules the world? Answer the question yourself. You already know it. I don't have to tell you. But you will be angry because you are being compelled to look at the fiction that is your life. You want peace. You want security. You want someone to take responsibility for the anguish that you are experiencing in the moment of contradiction, conflict, confusion. No one can save you from yourself, but it is only living men, simple men or women of truth, like this living Christ, who will speak the truth and nothing but the truth. Now you understand that you can argue with this living Christ, but he will not argue with you, for he understands the truth of non-duality, and he lives it. Oh, he is assailed with temptations, just like you, by satanic temptations based in belief. But they have no power because he is able to understand the contradiction between dualism, satanic fragmented thinking, and non-dualism based in the subconscious mind, which is the direct apprehension of what is, of truth, of love. Therein lies the infinity of intelligence based in what appears to be silence, the silence of meditation. That's how it's accessed. Be quiet. You can be quiet. Right now you doubt yourself that you can be quiet because your mind is chattering all the time, wanting to take ascendancy over your consciousness. And you have been trained to follow those temptations. That's civilized life for you. And you had to agree, as I said before, strike a contract with what appears to be the legal profession, which is nothing more than a satanic institution based in dualism, based in power, based in ascendancy. And it is the institution responsible for the dualism of authority of one man over millions, billions of others through belief, mind control, making them doubt themselves. That's what education is. It doesn't enhance intelligence, it destroys it. It creates a controllable entity for life. That's what education does. And even those who are employees of the education, they're not aware of that because they are like you. They merely are believers. They believe. They follow the letter of the law of words that are dualistic in nature, that in the very heart of those words creates the energy of dualism, of contradiction, of division, of anger, frustration, of violence, of wars, of killing, of crime. That's your civilized world, and you support it with your energy, which is symbolized by money. And that money is stripped away from you. That energy is stripped away from you until it becomes powerful and you become powerless. There you have the makings of the dichotomy of the master and the slave. However, you can change that anytime you wish, merely by stopping the intellectual process and being quiet and just observing. What you will observe will be the habitual thoughts that have been conditioned into you, and you have the opportunity of observing them holistically, unless you decide to support them or reject them, for that's an act of duality. And once again, you're in dualistic conflict. That's how you're controlled from birth to death, from beginning to end, in a fictional world that you create and you support. What lies beyond that is the universe, the eternal universe of infinite intelligence. That is the real you. That is the God that creates all of your behaviors in your world. And that can be found only in meditation, in stopping the dualistic chatter and observing in quietness the truth of your life. That's what this living Christ offers to you. Now, what about all the authorities, the worldly authorities? What power do they have over such a man, such a simple man of non-dualistic truth? The fact is they have no power whatsoever. And I have already have proven that in the courts of Oregon, when dualistic, satanic judges of a fictional institution called government tried to convict this living man. But all their energies were given to convicting a fictitious person, a non-living person that they have created through birth certification in which they have complete control over, because that person is a living dead concept in a fictional world ruled by a fictional government, a satanic government. And when that satanic government, that double dealing, fraudulent, criminal operatives, the judges, the lawyers, the bureaucrats, the cops, some of them, most of them, who are all blind believers, just like you. So they only apply their fraudulent power over you because you believe they do have that power. They don't. I'm living proof of that. They have no authority over this living man, for this living man is a simple man of non-dualistic truth and no dualistic power of satanic rule has any jurisdiction over such men, such living men and women. That's what I've been bringing to you for 25 years. And you fictional, conditioned morons, you slaves, pridefully attack such truth which would liberate you from your bondage. You don't need me to tell you how ignorant, how unintelligent that really is. Yet there you have it. Look at the history of this living man of simple truth at arkenterprises.com and Lisa Ray Enterprises.com. You will understand. Oh, you will be greatly disturbed by what you read because your entire fraudulent life will be exposed. You'll be turned upside down, and you won't like it one bit, for you will see yourself as the confused idiot who believes in what has been trained into him by satanic mind controllers. That happens every day of your life when you tune into your television, your radio, and you listen to moderators of media, of those who control the airways. They are conditioning you according to these concepts through repetition. And to do that, to control through repetition is a hypnotic procedure that renders an holistic being into a hypnotic slave. All your religions are a hypnotic fiction. All of your philosophies are hypnotic fictions learned since you were birthed into this fictional world. Not born, but birthed. Proven by a birth certification. Do you understand? You've already were declared to be of the living dead. And the satanic courts deal with estates, which are nothing more than that, the property of the dead that is being struggled by living dead entities to attain some kind of power in a dualistic world, the world of hell. Have I disturbed your sensibilities? I'm sure that I have. Can you disprove one word of this living Christ in this video? It can't be done. Not really. Oh, you can retain your opinion and you can remain in conflict, but you cannot prove that I have deceived you. For I have spoken the holistic truth, and you're not even capable of grasping that because you live in the fragmented consciousness of the perception, the definition, the reflection of truth. That's the fictional world that you call civilized. That's where most of you claim to live. But you declare yourself by such statement as being a civilized citizen, a living, dead person. Hell, isn't it?